Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Megaman X3. In the last part we started off the game going through an overly long intro sequence, and now we're going to be heading out to the next couple of Mavericks, starting with our little friend there in the top right. Well, that's probably one of the weirder boss intros in the PlayStation version. And anyway, Toxic Seahorses stage is your basic water level, though the water gimmick won't show up for a while, actually. Also, for those of you who have played Mega Man Extreme 2, this place looks very familiar because Extreme 2 did actually reuse this stage for a certain other Maverick. I'll get to the Extreme games at some point, probably after this one, actually. But I'll get more into that later. The water in this vertical section here does push you down and hinder your movement, so watch out for that, but it's nothing too bad. In fact, I'll admit, this is actually one of my better runs of the stage. I go through most of the stage without getting hit. Anyway, stick to the left wall here because you can actually climb up to it and find the first heart tank. Heart tanks, like in the first two games, when you collect them, increase your maximum HP. There is one in all of the 8 Maverick stages. Though, I will admit, X3 has some of the more backtracking in it. Or is one of the games that has the higher amount of backtracking. There we go, that's better grammar. And this room is still pointless right now, but don't worry, their purpose will be revealed by the end of the part. You can go to the right, but it's kind of pointless for us to at this point, so I'm just going to ignore that. Spikes are obviously instant death, so stay away from those. And as usual for a Mega Man game, Mega Man 1 aside, obviously, when you're in the water, your jump height is doubled or tripled or something like that, and it's actually pretty handy. And it's time for a mini-boss, actually. In fact, I think almost every stage in this game has a mini-boss. Almost. And it's this random octopus guy that can't stop flailing his arms. He's not that hard, but for some reason, he reminds me of Launched Octopus from X1. And because of that, also Squid Adler from X5. Okay, so that's where the video audio desync happened. I already fixed it off during the editing process, but that's where it started, at least. I really should have stayed to collect that energy pellet. And for some reason now the water just disappears. I don't get that, but okay! Also, you hear that electric guitar in the music? You're gonna be hearing that a lot. Mind you, X2 kind of abused it as well, but X2 had the overall better soundtrack. In fact, I think X3 here is the only... no, I was actually about to say it's the only Mega Man X game that doesn't have a very memorable soundtrack, but then I remembered X7. Anyway, we're actually right at Toxic Seahorse. And that's me pausing, because I'm so used to Classic where I have to pause to switch my weapons, but since I'm playing X, I can just use the L and R buttons to switch. Obviously, since I'm going in the order I am, Toxic Seahorse is weak against the Frost Shield of Blizzard Buffalo. I don't remember many Toxic Seahorse's attacks, actually. He jumps left to the right and likes to fire a pellet, I know that much. Or a pellet of acid that bounces all over the place, a la Sigma from X1. Like that, actually. And I think he can melt in the floor, but I'm not too sure about that. But as you can see, when you have his weakness, he's pretty abusable. Like Mega Man 7, if you hit the bosses with their weakness, they're fairly locked into a pattern. Not as much as X7, Classic 7, but still pretty badly. Toxic Seahorse, nothing too hard without his weakness. With it, from what I recall though, he is actually rather tough. Also, you just saw there below X, the secondary effect of the Frost Shield activated where it hangs onto the floor. But that was actually I will say, Toxic Seahorses stage is overall tame. The boss can be hard if you don't have the weakness, but it's nothing too bad. But for beating him, we get the Acid Burst, I want to say it's called. It's a pretty simple weapon, actually. It's actually very much like the Bubble Lead from Megaman 2. It just hits the ground and splashes like that. Yeah, Acid Burst, I was right. Booyah! I love doing that. Huh. He looks familiar. Probably nothing.
He's the Maverick Hunter I failed to catch last time. I had no idea he is so powerful. Bit and bite.
Meet Bit. And Bite.
Bring that Maverick Hunter to me, alive if possible.
Affirmative, Dr. Doppler. Oh, what though? You look familiar. Mysterious Maverick. Alive, Dr. Doppler? You're so kind.
Watch your mouth, or I'll put you back where I found you. Even with your enhancements, you are still no match for me.
Thanks for the upgrade, Doctor, but I have a score to settle. And I'll do it my way. Well, he looked awfully familiar as well.
Fine, just make sure you do it. I still can't believe that Maverick Hunter defeated my master twice in the past.
Well, if you played X1 or 2, it's pretty obvious who his master is just by that twice line or by the anime FMV in the PlayStation version. Perfect. Anyway, time for our next Maverick. It's no Gurren Lagann. And here we have what I consider the epitome of generic stage theme. I hate this song. Though there are some pretty good remixes of it on OC Remix, if I recall correctly. If you remember Flame Stag stage from Ep.2, X2, it's very similar in terms of structure. A lot of rocks and a lot of just blech. But with that cutscene out of the way, actually, well, first off, here's the heart tank, but we can't get it yet. With that cutscene there out of the way, the bit and bite system are now activated. Those empty rooms we've seen in the past two stages that were kind of in the middle of the stage, now when we enter them, there is a chance, it's completely random, by the way, that bit and or bite will show up. I think bit always shows up first, though. And I'm going to get more into that system once we actually get to the boss fights, but yeah. It's a much better way of handling the X-Hunter thing from X2, I can say that much. Anyway, up here is the first collectible, which is a sub-tank. Okay, I hate these guys. Why? Watch how much damage they do. Ouch! Do not let those things power up all the way, whatever you do. It's not kind. Anyway, I always do this order, so I'm always kind of hesitant because I might run into the first boss here, which I end up doing. Hi, Bit.
Welcome, X. I'm Bit. I have my orders. You are to be destroyed.
If I recall correctly, didn't Doppler say alive if possible? Anyway, Bit here is weak to the Frost Shield, which is why I'm glad I always take Blizzard Buffalo on first. Bit's pattern is one I actually had a lot of trouble with in my early days. He likes to jump up in the air, and when he's even with you on his way back down, he'll dash towards you. He'll also occasionally throw these rings that'll paralyze you, like that one right there. That'll paralyze you to stay where you are, like so. And he also has a random little laser he can shoot off. He's not that hard. However, well, I'll just wait to explain that until after this.
This Reploid's special abilities are too... No, it can't be... Grr.
Now, as you can see here, Bit is exploding. If I had finished him off with anything but the Frost Shield, that would not have happened. When you fight Bit and Bite and that mysterious Maverick later on, you can actually kill them right then and there and not have to do anything with them later on. And that's if you kill them with their weakness, though. If you kill them with anything else, they'll live and they'll fight another day. And that actually will impact stuff in the final levels, so that's actually pretty cool. I gotta admit, I actually really like that. Much better than the freaking X-Hunters in X2, because I hated having to hunt for those guys over an Overdrive Ostrich's stage. And from here on, the rest of the stage is rather plain. Ow. These boulders won't fall when you're near them, and sometimes they'll blindside you because you forget they're there, like that one. But they're not that bad. I do like the sprite work on them. And there's another one of those boulders, which means there's a power up there we can't quite get yet. Like, X3 is probably the most heavy when it comes to backtracking. Actually, no, X5's still pretty bad with that. But mind you, X5 is at least fun and has a great soundtrack. Anyway, time for the actual mini-boss of this stage. This random robot who reminds me of Hardman from Megaman 4. His only attack is to ram the wall. If you're on the wall when he rams it with his... I hope it's a drill. You will fall, so watch out for that. And that's about it. Just shoot charge shots at his face and you should be good. Actually, this guy also reminds me of the Guts Dozer from Mega Man 2, not just Hardman. I actually didn't know you could technically move after killing him. That's actually pretty cool. And I actually really do hate how all the mini-bosses have this long and drawn-out explosion animation. Only the Maverick should have that. Do it like that one random mini-boss you could fight in Sting Chameleon Stage next one. Just have it explode very quickly. Mind you, X1's explosions were also just really short, and I loved it for that. And with that, we're actually pretty close to the end of the stage. It's not that much farther. Obviously, whenever you come across those crab turrets, destroy them, because, my god, the amount of damage they did earlier was ridiculous. X3, I find you fun enough, but your damage output in the beginning is ridiculous. It's like a first playthrough of Metroid Fusion, whenever you get to that, Sector 2 with those bugs. Ugh. I love you, Fusion, but those bugs just hurt so much. These little drill things actually remind me of, these one enemies you can fight in X5 in the first stage, but, I'll save that for when we get to X5. Like, in a year, maybe. Anyway, we're at Tunnel Rhino. Since I'm going in this order, he's obviously weak against the Acid Burst, so get that out. Now, you remember that pattern I mentioned back with Blizzard Buffalo about moving left to right? I think I mentioned it back then. Meet the prime example. This guy he likes to dash towards you and try to hit you with his drill. He can also dash towards the wall and create that same little stun effect that the mini-boss had. And every now and then when you hit him, as you'll notice, he'll kind of turn rainbowish, and he's invincible during that little rainbow phase. Kind of reminds me of Domon's Hyper Mode from Mobile Fighter G Gundam. There it is, right there, actually. Actually, it looks really cool. I'll give it that. And that's about it. I don't think he has any other attacks. He's actually a really easy boss. I know people that actually take him on first, because even without his weakness, he's really, really easy. But sadly, Tunnel Rhino's drill could not pierce the heavens, and thus explodes. Pretty tame boss if you have his weakness. Even without his weakness, he's pretty easy, as I mentioned before. And an overall team level, aside from the damage output of those crabs. anyway, for beating him, we get the Tornado Fang, I believe it's called. Essentially, it's a little drill power-up that shoots forward, and if I recall correctly, you can press the button again to have it split into other drills. The drill does start out slow, but it gets faster after a couple seconds. Actually, no, wait. When it comes to the drill that splits into other drills, I think I'm thinking of the spread drill from Megaman and Base. Never mind. It's actually fairly useful, and it's very damaging. I know that much for a fact. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in Part 3, we'll be heading after our next Maverick here in the bottom left. See you guys then.